nobody calls Han Solo a bitch.
Bring him on. I prefer a straight fight to all this sneaking around.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
Oh, come on, bro. It's the wars.
So as expected with the new year, we've had a lot of firsts. We had the first novel of the year, the first video game announcement, and now we've got the first slow news week. But we'll manage. This is The Wars and More. I'm Joe, and of course with me is my good buddy Doug. Hey Doug, how you doing this week?
Doing pretty good, Joe. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Cool.
I mean, so it's a slow news week, but I mean, there's stuff to talk about.
I was gonna say, how slow is it really? I mean,
it was progress, right?
Sure.
A lot of moving forward. Now we're just like back to the regular Star Wars news, right?
Yeah. I suppose so. There's always something to talk about.
I mean, this is the stuff we would normally talk about on a slow news week.
Okay.
I mean, there's nothing groundbreaking, but there's some fun stuff.
Yes, of course. There always is.
So last week we were talking about video games, and we were talking about everything that had nothing to do with EA, right?
Right? Exactly. I think that's kind of what everyone was excited about, right?
I mean,
Ubisoft. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna try something good for once.
Right.
No. I kid. But EA has done a lot. Like, there was a lot of speculation after all that news that EA was out, right?
Right.
Look, EA's done a little like, whoa, hey. We're still expecting to continue with Jedi Fallen Order, a sequel to that, right?
Okay, yeah.
And Battlefront.
Oh.
So they're still expecting to continue the Battlefront series.
Really?
Yep.
Good.
And with, over this past week, Battlefront 2 becoming free for PC players on, I think it was Epic Games or something like that. Yeah, Epic Games Store.
Okay.
So it was free on the Epic Games Store over this past week. That started a lot of speculation that we're going to be seeing a Battlefront 3 announcement very soon.
Ooh.
Which is kind of ironic because, I mean, I've been waiting over a decade for Battlefront 3 announcement.
Yeah. No, that's funny.
I mean, you know what else is funny?
What's that?
You remember how, EA was charging for everything when Battlefront 2 came out?
Yeah.
And now they're giving it away.
That's true. That's true. Yes. Oh, that's funny. Oh, wow.
Yep. Best microtransaction ever. Free.
Yeah. I guess that's one way to draw people in, huh?
There was a little hiccup, though.
Yeah?
Yeah, apparently they weren't expecting the influx of players that they got. So there's been some error messages that players have been receiving because they can't log in because the servers are full.
Oh, nice. So yeah. Not a strong start there then.
Yeah. I mean, they're like, oh, but have no fear. We're upgrading our server capacity. So, we can get more players in. I mean, you made it free. Don't you think you would have done that beforehand?
You'd think so, yeah. Little infrastructure is always a good foundation,
I mean, it didn't show a lot of confidence in their game, right? Like, we're going to make it free, but we don't expect anyone to play it.
Yeah, that's the way it looks, doesn't it? I mean, wow. But hey, they'll get there eventually.
It seems like they made progress relatively fast. Like they were prepared for it, but didn't implement ahead of time.
I gotcha. Yeah.
So I guess, hey, why spend the money if it doesn't happen? I don't know.
I guess, but man, if you're, a company of that size and stature, wouldn't you put the infrastructure in place, have it ready to go, and it's like, okay, if you realize, okay, we don't need all of this, reallocate that to something else then at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, especially when you look at like, all three of the sequel trilogy films made over $1 billion.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, no one's going to play this game.
Exactly. Exactly. For anybody who hasn't yet, is like, oh, it's free now? Okay, I'm in, you know. I don't know.
Yes, it's finally in a price range I'm willing to pay for.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, but I'll still give kudos. They did rectify the situation.
Yeah.
You know, they were proactive.
Yeah.
Which is better to say than a lot of things when they go free, right? You don't expect the company to be proactive after they give something away.
Yeah, when you give it away, there's usually no support. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Usually that's like the death of something, right? It's free to play now.
Exactly.
But yeah, but you know what? Now's the time where they could do microtransactions and no one would be that mad.
Good point.
It's only free for like a week though, right? So
oh, okay. Well, yeah.
it's not free anymore. It's only until the 21st.
Aha. So, gotcha.
But that being said, if you got it free and you got enticed to pay a little extra for some stuff, people are less mad.
Yeah, I would think so.
And when you spend $60 and say, hey, if you want to get anywhere, you got to buy this. Like,
yeah.
What I spend $60 on, bro.
Exactly. Yeah. I understand it costs money to make video games, but
damn, really?
Really? Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's good to see the Battlefront 2. It's good to see that problem happen too, right? Because that means people were interested, which means Battlefront 3 becomes more of a reality.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Battlefront 2 was, it's a fantastic game.
Yeah, it definitely is. I played through the campaign, yeah.
It's a very fun game to play, and the multiplayer is spectacular. It's fun.
Right.
So if they can keep going and make it even better, because from 1 to 2, it got better.
Right.
3 should get better. Yeah.
Be interesting.
So, yeah, hope that pushes it forward. Let's get 3 out here. Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
And no funny business at the start of it.
Right. Exactly. I think they learned a lesson on that one.
Yeah. And I think what EA has done along the way to rectify that wrong is going to go a long way for Battlefront 3's success.
Right.
I mean, they've set themselves up to do it right and to be a contender on the, top games of the year chart. It's not going to be game of the year because it's not not what they like in game of the year contenders, but
yeah.
That always goes to something like Skyrim or
right.
Open world craziness that, most people don't know how it becomes game of the year.
Right.
But the people that play it love it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but anyway, I digress. Yeah. Excited to see that excitement for Battlefront 2 and rumblings about Battlefront 3, and let's make this happen. Let's do it.
Right.
All right. Oh, where to next? Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill on Twitter. We love talking about Mark Hamill on Twitter.
Mark Hamill loves his Twitter. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And he likes cryptic and controversial tweets.
Yes, this is true. Yeah, this is very true.
So it all started with Peyton Reed.
Right.
Right. So he shared a photo. It's Luke with his land speeder. And it says, when I was a kid, this photo hung on my bedroom wall. Star Wars and Luke Skywalker in particular meant a great deal to me. some things never change. It was an honor and a dream come true to work with you on The Mandalorian. Thank you, and may the Force be with you.
Very nice. Very nice tweet.
Very nice tweet.
And just to refresh anyone who's not aware, directed the last episode of season 2 of The Mandalorian. Yes. So, yes, very cool. You know, to be able to go from somebody who had a picture of Luke Skywalker hanging on their bedroom wall to directing Luke Skywalker, that's really kind of awesome, you know?
Massive. I mean, that's massive, right? Like,
yeah, for sure.
What more could you ask for?
Exactly.
So, and yeah, just a wonderful, wonderful comment from him.
Yeah, totally.
And then we get to the controversy.
Uh-oh.
Mark Hamill responded. So he says, I am so grateful to have been given the unexpected opportunity to revisit my character when he was still a symbol of hope and optimism. Your assured direction and kindness was a crucial element in the experience and means more to me than I can say. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. When did he get to revisit his character? Revisit my character when he was still a symbol of hope and optimism.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. That just I have to say that the implied notion there is that his character became not that.
Yeah, I came here to die. Yeah, real uplifting.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, so that being said, right? That portrayal of Luke Skywalker is currently a victim of when it came to us, right?
Which portrayal are you talking about here?
The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi? It's a victim of when it came to us?
Yes, because we got that before we got anything else post Return of the Jedi, Luke Skywalker. Right?
Yeah.
In canon. In D-level canon.
Right.
So the first thing we got post Return of the Jedi in the Disney canon was The Last Jedi, Luke Skywalker.
Right.
And that's not what we were looking for.
No. There's part of me, I gotta say, I don't know that Luke Skywalker, at whatever point we got that Luke Skywalker, would have been the right point.
But hear me out.
Okay.
Let's just say, as we go through the years here, they fill in the gap in between.
Yep.
And more happens that breaks Luke. You see a story unfold that breaks Luke Skywalker.
Okay.
Does that, in the long run, end up making that character better? Because you see why he ended up being broken. Then you saw him in that broken state. And then you see him step out of that and perform this amazing feat that no Jedi's ever performed.
Yeah. Step out of that and die.
Yeah, but still, he performed a feat that
it was
no one. And
sure.
The important thing going forward here is no Jedi is going to be able to perform this feat leading up to that. That's going to have to be a feat exclusive to him.
Right.
That's the only way this works.
I agree. 100% I agree.
So if you fill in this gap, show what breaks him, explain those moments. Does that Luke Skywalker become better? Because you see what broke him. He's broken. Then he gets brought out of it and performs this amazing feat. and is the hero once again.
It's gonna take a lot.
Yeah, they got some splaining to do.
I mean, a lot for me. He's going to have outside forces just beating down on him all the time.
Yes.
In my opinion. Because this, for me, this can't be some internal struggle. This has got to be like everything that he tries to do is met with resistance from every angle, to where he finally gives up.
Yeah, there's got to be an exceptional amount of loss.
Yes.
Along the way.
And years of it.
Mm-hmm.
Decades of it. So, forgive me for being so I don't know, resistant to this, or I don't know what the right word is, but it's going to take a lot, in my opinion, to reconcile that. I just,
I don't know. Like I said, I became hopeful thinking about it more.
Yep.
That, okay, now we got to see that. Like, okay, here's Luke post Return of the Jedi. He's grown. He is that, unshakable, unwavering beacon of hope.
Yes. Absolutely. Yep.
How calm he was in that whole situation, and just like, that was amazing.
It was totally amazing. I gotta say. I mean,
and if we see more of that, and then see how that breaks down, I think it could come around and be complete.
Here's the thing for me. I would love to see more of that, what we saw in The Mandalorian. I'd love to see a lot more of that. But then, in order to reconcile that Luke with the one we saw in The Last Jedi, we're going to have to follow it up with like 18 episodes of The Empire Strikes Back. Is what I'm getting at. It's going to take a lot of beating on Luke Skywalker.
But let's just think about this for a moment. Okay. Let's imagine that up until his temple,
yep,
everything's going great.
Yeah.
Everything goes great until then. Maybe he's so high on everything going so great. That's why he makes this decision to that short thought of just killing Ben.
So what leading up to that causes him to make that decision? That's the question. Because
that's what I'm saying. Like, what if he forgets what it's like to see hardship?
I don't know.
He is so legendary. He is so great.
In my opinion, the only way you're going to be able to explain that is that there's some sort of more powerful outside source. This could be viewed as cheap, but the Emperor, unbeknownst to Luke, puts that thought into his mind.
That he is, that Ben is the downfall of everything.
Right. And that the only way to take care of that is to take out Ben.
Yeah.
That's the only way it works.
Because from the way as I'm thinking about it here, I think if he was getting beaten along the way, that would make that decision even harder, I think, for him, because he never saw it like so great.
Every time Luke's been kicked in the teeth, he's come out stronger on the other side.
Right. That's why I'm like, maybe he needs to have it go really, really good for a while, that he gets complacent.
I'm not sure that he would, though. That's the part.
Yeah, but I mean, that's easy to say.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
I know. But that's where I think it needs to be some sort of outside force. If Palpatine
for sure.
is tapping into his brain and he's still thinking Palpatine's dead and gone, okay. That's how it works. That's okay. That's how it works. But, it's, I would like to see a lot more of this optimistic, badass Luke that we saw in Mandalorian. That's what I'd like to see.
I think we will.
That would be cool.
I think we will. Like I said, I'm just trying to rationalize everything there, because that really is my sticking point with The Last Jedi. I really have a hard time figuring out how he gets there.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I've had it explained to me a lot of ways, and I'm like, yeah, but, I mean, really? I have to rationalize off screen? Like,
exactly.
I have to rationalize out of story, like,
and
there's no story to back this up.
To be honest,
and
that's no matter what happens in the interim here, that's still going to be the case. Last Jedi still forces you to look to another outlet, whatever it might be or might become, to rationalize the character that he is there.
Well, I have no problem looking to other stories that fill in the gap.
Yeah, except we just don't have
what we
them
do.
yet. That's the problem, is we don't have those stories yet.
Yes. Yes, that's the problem right now, is those stories aren't there.
Exactly. And
so right now I have to headcanon my way to that, and headcanon for me getting there is it's a stretch, man.
It's a tall order. Yes.
Like I had it explained to me like, it's PTSD, man. I'm like, it took him 30 years to lose it?
Exactly.
Like that's post traumatic stress.
Yes.
Like, man, that took a while.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's rough for me to swallow too. I know that's a popular theory. That was rough for me to swallow.
And I understand the theory, and I understand the reason for going there. But you got this gap.
Exactly.
And it's like, you're telling me that what he did with the Death Stars 30 years before that triggered him, like I said, after 30 years. Like, it took that long.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to fill in the gap with him struggling over these issues.
Right.
He has to fight with this all along the way, which means he probably falls to the dark side along the way.
See, that makes more sense. And we got to see him struggle with that a little bit in Return of the Jedi.
Right.
That's the sort of thing, though. If we explore that in the interim, okay, I could buy that more than just, PTSD, I don't know.
And here's the thing too, is like, everybody thinks that, you just got this headcanon for Luke Skywalker and how great he's supposed to be. Everybody kind of forgets that we've had 20 plus years of Star Wars stories with Luke Skywalker involved that did not go this way.
Right.
This isn't just some fantasy attachment to a character and things like that. No, there were stories
and
that got wiped out.
There were great stories too.
Yeah, I mean, there were good and bad, but
there were good and bad, but there were great stories.
Yeah, there were some really great stories along the way.
Yeah,
it's not just this like irrational headcanon.
Yeah, hey, I don't know. I just like to see that Mark Hamill is kind of recognizing how a lot of us feel. And he feels the same way.
Right.
It's,
well, I would just like to say this. Like I'm like I said, I'm no hater of The Last Jedi. I don't hate the film.
Right, nor do I.
But I will say this: those who really, really love the film, that are getting really, really, really mad right now about these rumors of retconning it with this World Between Worlds stuff, right? Oh. You're getting really, really mad about this story being retconned.
Yeah.
Right? So imagine having stories told to you for 20 years and then having them retconned for you.
Oh yeah,
That's what's happened to us.
Sure. There was a whole lot where that rug was just pulled right out from under us, for sure.
So, in that sense, I understand your anger here. You love this story, and you don't want it taken away from you.
Right.
But when you're yelling at us that are just trying to talk about the story, we're not doing this for any reason other than the story.
Right.
You know, other than our love of Star Wars.
Yep.
We don't hate your position, but we've had that rug pulled out from under us the same way you're fearing it might happen to you.
Yeah.
We can find common ground here.
Oh, absolutely. Let me just say, for the record, Last Jedi is not my favorite Star Wars movie. Far from it. We'll just say that. But I don't think it's going to get retconned with The World Between Worlds.
No, and I'm with you. That is absolutely ridiculous.
Exactly. That is not going to happen.
And in all honesty, if they did it, it would piss me off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because what will stay after that?
Right. Yeah.
What are you going to do next?
That opens up a whole new can of worms that we don't need in Star Wars.
Yeah. Can we wipe out the OT now?
Yeah. You certainly could at that point.
So why would we go that route? Why would anybody want that?
Right.
So I'm with everybody there.
Yeah.
That's a ridiculous idea.
I will say The Last Jedi Luke Skywalker is not the Luke Skywalker I wanted to see. It's not my favorite Luke Skywalker. It's what we have, though.
Yeah, it's what's there.
It's what's there. It's what we have. And, I have acceptance. That's cool. But
and here we are still talking Star Wars, right?
Absolutely. I would just like to see more of the Luke Skywalker that we saw in Return of the Jedi, and then subsequently in The Mandalorian Season 2.
Yes.
That's what I would like to see more of.
Yeah, I'm with you. Because that was awesome.
Yes, for sure.
I mean, absolutely awesome. I mean, we talked about this before. I'm the prequel era kid, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And I got chills watching that green lightsaber with the gloved hand and the cloak and walking down there just wrecking these dark troopers.
Yes, exactly.
I got chills.
Yep.
So
okay, I'm just throwing this out there too. From that tweet, he talks about having the picture of Luke Skywalker on his wall and everything. All of that whole sequence, walking down the corridor, you see the gloved hand, you see the lightsaber, you see the other hand not gloved, right? All of that was a fan doing his best to pay homage to that character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is what I can appreciate so much from that. So,
I mean, and the chills, I mean, hell, Peyton Reed did it even better than that. Like, and who wrote it?
I can't say off the top of my head.
Okay, but either way, between writing and directing and acting and things like that, I mean,
yes.
that moment we're talking about, that started with the X-Wing showing up.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, one X-Wing? We're saved. It's like, that's Red 5, lady.
Exactly, right. Yeah, you don't know who you're talking about here. Yeah. But, and then, okay, you brought up the prequels. You're a prequels fan.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that makes all of this gel so well together for me was as he's going, this lightsaber choreography through all those corridors just reminded you of Anakin Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like there's such a synergy there, and nothing is done in Star Wars by accident.
No.
So that was a thought, and the fact that we can pick up on that, just all of that stuff right there that I just talked about, that's what we were looking for in The Last Jedi. And what we got was, who's this guy?
Right. And yeah, the big thing was it was a shock to the system.
Yes,
That's
for
the
sure.
big thing. I mean,
Absolutely.
whenever you get a shock to the system, it's like, whoa, what the hell just happened, right? Like,
Right.
but speaking of, beyond that, speaking of what you just said about the prequels and Anakin and things like that, I see a lot of comparisons to, Vader in the corridor on Rogue One and Luke.
Yep.
But man, I compared that more to Episode 3 Anakin.
Yes.
The way he would when he was dealing with the Separatists, right? Like,
Yep.
That was more of the vibe I got.
Yes.
Even though you're seeing a dichotomy there because this is dark side, this is light side.
Yes, but it's still Skywalker.
Yeah. One's sentience, one's droids.
Yep.
I feel like Luke wouldn't be as brutal if those were living things.
True. But
I don't see Luke Skywalker using the Force to crush a human.
Right. No, right. You're probably just looking at, blaster bolts being deflected back and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I agree with you as far as, the resemblance being more like Anakin than Darth Vader. But there is, like I said, a synergy or something, there is something connecting all of those scenes together.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a common thread there.
For sure. Like the style and all that. That's, yes, absolutely.
Well, yeah, I mean, because I would say that Vader scene connects to Episode 3 very well.
Yes, absolutely.
And then that connects to Luke. Like, this is the Skywalker family.
Yep.
A path of destruction.
Yeah, for sure.
But, yeah, I mean, and there's connections to Anakin when Anakin was doing good, right?
Yeah. Totally.
There's just, that was a culmination of a lot of things in a TV show.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome to see the interaction between Mark and Peyton and just how grateful you can tell they both are that was able to happen.
Yeah. And like I say, I'm hopeful looking at all these pieces falling into place, right? That in the end, in 10, 20 years, whatever it takes, we will be looking at all this as a cohesive story.
Yeah.
That the gaps will get filled in and everything will make sense.
We'll all slap ourselves in the forehead and go, now I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't need to retcon to make stuff fit.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, that's true.
Retconning is like, it's changing things.
Yes.
You don't need to change things to make it fit. You just need to fill in the gaps.
Right.
And we are on a path that could fill in the gaps and make all of this work.
Hopefully so.
Just need to tell the right stories.
Yeah.
And we can get there. Hope and optimism. That's the symbol of Luke Skywalker, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Hope and optimism. We can look forward to the future of Star Wars.
Right.
And it all will be right in the end.
Have something to add to the conversation? Or you just want to let us know how we're doing? Email us, show@thewarsandmore.com. That's the best place to get in on the action. But if social media is a little more to your liking, @TheWarsAndMore on Twitter is always a good place to interact with us. And we're also on Facebook, facebook.com/TheWarsAndMore. And of course, your portal to this and everything else, The Wars and More, is thewarsandmore.com.
All right, so it wouldn't be Star Wars unless there's controversy, and hell, even Star Wars sets are controversial now. So they're building what?
I'm just laughing because you're right.
So they're building a set, or pretty much have built a set. I've seen the pictures here.
Right.
Presumably for Kenobi.
Yes, that's
in
what they're saying. Yeah.
What is this? Is Marlow, Buckinghamshire, in the UK?
Yeah, that's my understanding. Yes. They shorten it what? Marlow Bucks. I looked up where that is, and it's like, oh, Buckinghamshire. Okay. So
yeah.
So if I'm wrong about that,
I'm like, oh, I gotta say Buckinghamshire. Like, me and pronunciations,
Yeah.
horrible.
It's all right.
But we got through it. So, yeah, this is causing quite the stir.
Yeah.
Which it's a big set or near a small town.
Right. Yes.
Started to say in a small town, and then you see the aerial photos, and it's like, oh yeah, this is a small town right there in the background. Like,
right. Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. I think it's just close enough that the people in that small town are like, hey, it's getting too busy around here.
Yeah, it looks like a quarter to a half a mile, or however they measure it.
Kilometers, Joe. Yeah.
I know it's kilometers. I just didn't know what a quarter to half a mile would be in kilometers, like 50 or something like that. Like
50. Wow. Yeah. Hey, what's the exchange rate on those miles? Yeah.
I don't know. Our system's screwed up.
True.
I will give them credit there, man. They went in tens.
Oh yeah, that was a smart way
We're
to
like
go.
5,286. That's a good number.
Yeah.
What? Anyways, we're going back to Star Wars.
Yes.
Yeah, so it looks like a quarter to a half a mile away. But apparently that's close enough to cause issues.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Traffic. Those guys are working late into the night. Spotlights everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Those spotlights are crazy, too.
Hey.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You're driving down the road. It's dark night. There's not a lot of streetlights, and you come up on some construction, and you can't see jack.
Oh, yeah.
Because, those lights are blinding.
That is true.
But, they have to see everything they're doing, so.
Yeah.
It's got to be bright. So, yeah, I can understand, the light coming from that's probably distracting.
Yeah. This set it's no small deal either, really.
It looks like they're building Galaxy's Edge.
Right. It's definitely, it looks at least the size of a city block.
Yeah, it might be bigger than Galaxy's Edge.
Maybe. But
this is a wild set.
Yeah.
Especially since we're talking about a series here, right?
Right. Yeah, a limited series. Yeah.
A limited series. Well, apparently they're sparing no expense.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Because this is pretty elaborate.
Yeah. So the speculation is it's going to be for the Kenobi show, right?
Yes.
So, some aspects of this set don't look like Tatooine, we'll say for sure.
Right.
And
that could be because we're looking at mid-construction.
Yeah, it's possible. And also could be that Kenobi goes somewhere else, right? We've talked about those possibilities.
If they're building a set this big, he's going to be somewhere else for a while.
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
Okay, so back to the logistics
if
of
they're
this.
building this for like 2 episodes, man, they're going all out.
Yeah, true. But back to the logistics of the set itself. Logistics might not be the right word, but they're saying this set is going to be there in place for 3 years. That seems kind of like a long time. I'm wondering if this set's going to have multiple uses.
Yeah, like Kenobi, Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, exactly. Like they might be able to, redress the facades of these buildings into other places. Kind of makes sense when you think about it.
Yeah. I mean, this layout might look pretty specific.
Yeah, but I mean, that can be adjusted as well, camera angles and all.
Yeah, camera angles do magic.
Yes.
They make people look tall,
True.
I mean, there's some very short people out there that look massive in Hollywood.
Yeah, that is right.
It's all about the angle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, looking at this, my first response was, it doesn't look like Tatooine.
Right.
And my guess is people are jumping the gun. Maybe this is for Andor.
Right. Could be.
Not Kenobi.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, this even seems like it would be a real bustling town, right?
Yeah. You definitely get that impression from it.
Not something you really expect on Tatooine.
True. But I don't know. I mean, the streets of Mos Eisley and Mos Espa were bustling enough.
But this looks like it's going to be even more tight quarters than that.
It could be, yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I guess some of the Tatooine stuff seen in the video games is kind of tight quarters. So,
yeah.
But as far as on screen, there's like some tight quarters moments, but this is really tight for a whole town. Like they built a town here.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely every bit of the size of like you think of an old West town, right?
Yeah. But I mean, to be fair, I mean, if they're building a set that's going to be Tatooine, like this portion here might be Mos Eisley, this portion over here might be Mos Espa.
Right.
This can be split up for different locations.
That is true.
I mean, it's a movie set. It's not an actual town.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell, I mean, we only see a couple pictures here. I mean, some of it might be on a different planet.
That is true. Yeah. Hard to say. I just hope that the citizens of nearby Marlow can deal okay and it's not going to cause too many problems. The last thing we would need is for setbacks in filming Star Wars. Yeah.
Bad press.
Exactly.
Bad press. Like bad press is not something they need.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping they do their best to accommodate for the citizens of the town nearby.
Right.
And, don't be filming explosions at 3:00 in the morning.
Well, you never know. I can see it happening.
Yeah. But I'm just saying at 3:00 in the morning, they don't need to blow one of those buildings up.
Right. Well, maybe they do.
Maybe they do. Maybe they do. I hope they warn them.
Yes. Well, I'm sure they would. Yes.
The last thing they need to do is wake up feeling like they're in Mogadishu.
Right.
But yeah, it's pure scale here. This is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember seeing stuff like this for movies, dude.
Oh, I know. And it's kind of amazing when you think about it. With all of the technology we have now, the volume, different volumes being created all over the place. It's amazing that they're still going to all this expense to build a set like this.
And that's what's funny. We spent so much time over this past year talking about the volume and how they could avoid doing stuff like this.
Yeah.
And then here they are doing stuff like this.
Yeah. Well, hey, if it all makes for better Star Wars, I'm there.
I mean, there is something about Star Wars and filming.
Oh yeah.
With physical buildings in the background and things like that just works. There's a certain grit to it, Yep, for sure. So, but yeah, I would imagine you see that 3 years. This is multi-purpose. This is going to do more than just Kenobi.
Yeah, I think so too.
In my opinion.
Yep.
If for this expense, I mean, this here would put it over The Mandalorian, I would think, almost Almost absolutely, right? Like,
I would think so, yeah.
this would blow that budget away.
Oh, yeah. God, it would have to.
But then again, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Exactly. That's the thing right there that, I keep thinking about with Obi-Wan is that they are bringing back the guy, right? And, they've shown they're willing to put some money into quote-unquote television production, right? Streaming.
Right.
And I think their little test bed with The Mandalorian has proven itself. And now they are ready to really spend some cash. So,
yeah. I mean, this is Star Wars. It ain't Game of Thrones.
Nice. Yes, it is Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, hey, this is cool. It's cool to see. It is massive.
Yes.
It is absolutely mind-boggling to see. Because I just feel like this is the biggest thing we've seen.
Yeah.
I mean, in all of Star Wars production, have we seen something like they're building a theme park?
Yeah, it's almost what it looks like. Yeah. Stick a roller coaster next to that, and there you go.
Yeah, that's what you got. You got Galaxy's Edge right there.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Yeah, neat. Well, I mean, since we're talking Kenobi.
Oh, yeah.
We might as well talk about Ewan McGregor.
Sure. Yeah, Ewan was on Conan, and he was on there. And of course he asked. We say this all the time, but it's true. So Star Wars actors always get asked about Star Wars, but so he asked him about the Obi-Wan show coming up, and
we did learn one thing.
What's that?
Ewan McGregor is very good at learning scripts.
Oh. Okay. Because what I'm about to say is that his stories that he was telling about playing Obi-Wan were pretty much the same stories that we've heard.
Yeah.
He told that it's the they talked about how he had to study Alec Guinness's performance and how he's much closer to Alec Guinness's age, what he was when he shot A New Hope, and then the lightsaber guy with the repair cart, fixing lightsabers, all of that stuff. They touched on all of that stuff.
I really wish he would have brought up Ray Park's black eye.
Right. It did bring up the
injuries,
busted knuckles a little bit on the lightsabers, but yes.
Yeah.
There was one thing that kind of caught my ear that they kind of glossed over in the interview, but I was like, "Ooh, okay, we need to check this out and discuss."
And also it being post, plot-wise, the 3 films that I made already. It's after that, obviously.
Right. So you can have,
there's a bit of story plot there.
There's a nice arc that you can play with.
I hope so.
What do you mean you hope so?
Okay. He's good at learning scripts, but he ain't seen one.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. And so the real negative part of me is going, man, maybe he has seen a script and he's like, oh, I hope this is gonna get good. It's like,
well, wasn't he talking about before they talked about this kicking off, and then there was a little delay because they were going back to retweak things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, well, okay. I hear.
So maybe he saw the first script and he was like, ugh. And he hasn't seen the second script.
Maybe. Okay, look, let me... Here's a little reminder.
Ooh, we're going to go back in time.
We're going to go back in time. D23, 2019. Kathleen Kennedy.
I'll also tell you we are really close. We have all the scripts written. We are ready to start shooting next year. We could not be more excited.
All the scripts written. So, and after that, we did hear that they were going to make some adjustments and some tweaks and stuff, but, and then there was delays in when they were going to shoot and all that. There's all,
Yeah, there's 2020 blah, blah, blah. As a whole.
Exactly. But I just thought, wow, he hopes so?
And the way he said it was like very, there's a good arc. Well, yeah, I hope so.
Right. And the funny part is they just glossed right past that and went on to the next thing. I was like, man, let's hope that this is not something that we need to be worrying about. That's all I'm saying. It's funny that.
That's because the producer was in Conan's ear going.
Yeah.
Going.
Next question.
Keep going. Disney's going to sue us.
Right. Exactly. It's a good possibility there. But I don't know. I could be reading too much into this, but man, it's always little things like that kind of leak out, that out of when someone's answering a question, it's a little bit of extra that pops out that, maybe you shouldn't have. I don't know.
Yes, this is the kind of thing we expect out of Mark Hamill.
Exactly. Jake Skywalker. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I finally got to do what I wanted to do.
Yeah, right.
What? I didn't mean anything by that.
That's funny.
Yeah. Well, I hope so too.
Yes.
I'm with them on that. I just hope we don't get to Obi-Wan wanting to die.
Yeah, exactly. I'm so bored.
I know that you think I came here to watch Luke, but I came here to die.
Yeah, Obi-Wan complaining. I hate sand.
Yeah. And what do you want me to do in this sand? You want me to go out with a laser sword and face down the whole empire?
Right. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, more recent topics. Recently, we talked about Jason Isaacs.
Yes, we did.
And we talked about him potentially being Thrawn. That was one of the names that was bandied about when talking about a live-action Thrawn.
Right.
And for some reason, when we were talking about that, we overlooked the fact that he's been in Star Wars.
Yeah. Shame on us.
Shame. But, in our defense, we also talked about this whole wanting to play the Grand Inquisitor in live action years ago.
Right.
So,
Yeah, so Jason Isaacs was on, he did an interview with Collider, and, they basically put the question to him. If, or basically they'll ask a question. It's in here. Check it out.
Yeah.
If you were to take a, voice acting role from your past and play it in live action, which would it be? And you actually picked the Inquisitor from Star Wars Rebels.
I think it's because of his lightsaber.
Yes.
I'd like to use that spinning red lightsaber. I have the coolest wand in the Harry Potter world, and I have the coolest lightsaber in the Star Wars world. Yeah, I did pick that. That's correct.
So this is something that, I get it in a way. Excuse me, but everybody that plays someone who wields a lightsaber in Star Wars thinks theirs is the coolest. Mace had to have the purple blade. Giancarlo Esposito's got the dark saber. Ray Park had the double-bladed lightsaber. Kylo Ren's got the crossguard lightsaber. Come on, man. You know?
Right. Hey, hats off to them. They all think they got the coolest one.
Right.
Not to double back here.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna double back here.
That's fine.
So in that Conan interview with Ewan McGregor,
yeah,
they kept talking about the hilts of swords.
Yes.
And the word they were looking for was crossguard.
Right, exactly. Yeah, because the handles.
But they were talking about that, and when they were talking about that, I was like, well, Kylo Ren had one.
Exactly. I thought the same thing. Yeah.
So yeah, that was just a little aside. Like,
yeah.
If you go back and watch that interview, that whole interaction was hilarious. Like with Conan, it had a little flair that it didn't have in the past.
Right. Yes.
He was very animated about it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, they kept saying hilt, but I'm like, oh, you're talking crossguard, but I get it.
Right.
I get what you're saying.
Right. But I don't know. I just thought it was funny. He says he had the coolest wand in Harry Potter and the coolest lightsaber. I don't know. That's not the coolest lightsaber as far as I'm concerned. I don't know.
And I'll tell you what, Harry Potter fans would argue for days about who had the coolest wand.
Oh, I'm sure.
His was pretty sweet, though.
Okay. Hey, maybe it's true. But, it just cracks me up. Everyone wants to wield a lightsaber on screen.
Yeah.
And they want their lightsaber to be the coolest.
It would definitely be the most unique.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It'd be something different that we haven't seen in live action. For sure.
Yeah. And people would argue about whether it's the coolest, but it would definitely be the most unique.
Right. So, the interviewer also brought up to him the fact that, Katie Sackhoff voiced Bo-Katan, came to play Bo-Katan in live action, and basically now that's kind of like a possibility of happening, asked him if he'd be willing here.
Yes, I'm just curious now that there's seemingly more of a possibility for that to happen. Would you be open to it?
I'm open to anything. It's always about the scripts. I don't want to just turn up so that I can, take some photographs and go to conventions. I mean, I'd like to play parts. I mean, The Inquisitor was a great part when I played it, and if The Inquisitor was a great part again, I'd be up for it. I'm not sure I've got the patience of Doug Jones, who plays Saru in Discovery, who was the creature in the shape of water and stuff. I don't know how many hours I'd like to spend in prosthetics. But yeah, I mean, Katie had a very good time. I know Katie, and I have to say I've loved being part of the Star Wars world. They've invited me in, although I've only ever been an animated character before. It's always the script. It's always the script and what you get to do and.
Always the script.
Mad respect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mad respect. Like, and for Star Wars fans, it's always the story.
Right. Well, that's something that I harp on. That's why that clip appealed to me. It's all about the story. Especially when it comes to Star Wars, it's like it's the story. It's it's why I'll play the campaign of a video game to get that Star Wars story.
Mm-hmm.
That's
the word that gets used a lot is like fan service, right?
Right.
And I hate it when fan service gets applied to something that has substance to the story.
Yeah, exactly.
Fan service is something that just happens to make you happy for a minute and adds no value.
Well, right. Well, it's kind of like we're gonna throw this in here because it's kind of gonna be like a little inside joke, and only the prior fans are gonna catch it, and that's the whole purpose for it being there at all.
Right.
Yeah, but when stuff contributes to story, then it's not fan service. It's part of the story and something that moves it forward. The the fact that he says it's all about the script, it's all, it's the story, just shows that, and he says, and is right, the Grand Inquisitor had good story when he played him last. So if it's good story moving forward, then yeah, he's interested. And that's refreshing to hear for me.
Hey, I know he's got a past with Star Wars and everything, but what character in Star Wars wouldn't do something just for the sake of doing it? It would have to mean something.
What's that?
Thrawn.
Yeah. Yes.
Cast this guy now.
Yep.
I mean, with an attitude like that, how could he not look at a Thrawn script? How could he look at a Thrawn script and not go, wow, I want to do that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when he understands what the character of Thrawn is all about. Yeah.
And to play a character that every time he's going to show up, he's going to be unpredictable.
Yeah.
Because he went on to talk about that. Like, I'm just going to be this character in this or this character in that.
Right.
No, Thrawn's going to be unpredictable, dude. You don't know what he's going to do. And he's going to do something wild.
Yes, exactly.
So, perfect fit. I'm on board.
Yeah, I'm on board.
I know he was the Inquisitor, and like people will be like, well, he already did this. There's a lot of voice actors that did a lot of stuff. So.
Sure, and we could see the Inquisitor, right? Could we?
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah,
I
mean, for something else, right?
Yeah,
but for Mandalorian or Ahsoka,
no, he did.
Yeah, but yeah, for Ahsoka, he could play Thrawn for sure.
Yeah, I mean, hearing that, I'm just like, yeah, cast this guy as Thrawn. Like,
absolutely.
I like him more and more for the part. And listen to that whole interview. Listen to how he talks about cinema and things like that. Like,
yeah.
Listen to how he's studying art, people.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy is somebody who loves his craft.
Like, he's studying film and stuff like that. Like Thrawn studies art. This is Thrawn, people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, I thought he looked the part, but damn.
Yeah.
He's acting the part.
Yeah.
Get this guy.
Awesome.
I know everybody wants Robert Downey Jr., but come on, really?
Yeah.
Listen to Jason Isaacs talk and just go, like, how could this guy not be Thrawn?
Yes. God, between those two, there's no comparison. I'm sorry.
No comparison. None whatsoever. Zero.
Yeah.
I like Robert Downey Jr. for what he does, but I like him for what he does.
Exactly.
Like I said, he could surprise me and end up killing it, and then I'll eat crow.
Right.
But until then, I'm Jason Isaacs all the way.
Yeah. For sure.
All right. Last thing. Go out with a bang here. Go out with a nice, uplifting, humorous note.
Yeah.
Bill Burr.
Yes, Bill Burr. He was on Fallon. And apparently Bill Burr has been catching some crap about, his character in The Mandalorian having a Boston accent. So it's something, I got to be honest with you. That thought never occurred to me watching those episodes that he was in.
This is what we're doing now?
I know. So it's like, okay.
We're bitching about accents?
Yeah. But, it's Bill Burr, so he's got to have a response. And, yeah, here it is.
Oh, I know. That's hilarious. I've never heard a Boston accent in outer space is what they say. And I always just go like, oh, yeah, what about English? Isn't that a little weird if you went to a galaxy far, far away and you get off and somebody's like, hey, how's it going? And you totally understand them. What about the fact that Han Solo's talking to a Bigfoot? He's speaking Bigfoot. Han Solo's speaking English. They never break character. The one keeps going, and he's going, I said hit the button, Chewie. And that was all fine. None of that. How about C-3PO with an English accent? That was okay? The guy been knighted? He just played Royal Albert Hall, and now he's hanging out with I almost said Leonard Skinner. Luke Skywalker?
Leonard Skinner.
Oh, my. Okay, so, come on. Don't be giving this guy crap about a Boston accent in Star Wars. What difference does it make, right?
Right.
But, my God, Bill, it's punch it. Not Chewie hit the button. Come on.
Yeah, I never heard him say, hey, hit that button over there.
Yeah. Oh.
Come on.
And how does he almost call Luke Skywalker Leonard Skinner? That just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know.
I don't know. It was funny, though.
It was funny, yeah.
And he has some very good points.
Yes. He does, yes.
I like that. He's speaking Bigfoot.
Yeah. Yes. I heard that. That was funny. I figured this would be a good way for us to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never once had a problem with Bill Burr's accent.
No.
In The Mandalorian.
No, not at all.
And, okay, once we start splitting hairs like this, right?
Yeah.
We get down to what accent is there and what, that just doesn't make sense in the Star Wars universe. Then we are Star Trek fans, people.
I was going to say, then we're looking so hard for things to complain about that I think we've forgotten why we're watching it in the first place.
Yeah, like when we're getting mad about bombs dropping in space and things like that.
Yeah.
And accents. Like, I never heard a Boston accent in Star Wars. Like, come on.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, I don't get that. Like, yeah, let's be real here. Let's stop taking this so seriously.
Exactly.
And we're going to completely ignore what was an absolutely spectacular performance from Bill Burr.
Yeah, it was too. And we said it at the time, for sure.
Because I'm going to be honest. When I saw Bill Burr in the list of people doing Star Wars,
right,
I didn't have high hopes.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was not because of his Boston accent. Like,
yeah.
You know? So when he turned out and did what he did, especially this past season.
Yes. That's the one that cinched it for me, yeah.
I mean, we're going to get mad about a spectacular performance because the accent was wrong? Come on.
Yeah.
Because it was absolutely that. It was a spectacular performance. Bill Burr killed it. I mean,
sure.
That was great Star Wars. And man, what a funny way to put all that.
Yep.
I like how animated he got about it. Dude, he's one of us.
Absolutely.
He's one of us. We're going to shout about Star Wars. Yes. So, yeah. Well, if you have anything to add to the conversation, you can always email us, show@thewarsandmore.com. That's the best way to get a hold of us. We're also on social media. We're at The Wars and More on Twitter, facebook.com/thewarsandmore. You can find all that and all the ways to find the show over at thewarsandmore.com. Any final thoughts this week, Doug?
No, I think that about covers it.
All right. We'll talk next week.